Hey YouTube, it's Wes. Hope you guys are doing great. You know what I love about this channel and just life in general is oftentimes when you make great connections with people, you get exposed to new things. And in today's video, this is a perfect example of that. We're going to jump into a brand new project that's super exciting in the Web3 world that I think has the potential to be a real game changer, especially in the challenges they're trying to solve. That project is called POKT. In today's video, we're going to dive into a high level of POKT so you can understand what it is, why there's so much buzz around it, what it's trying to solve, and how you can get involved if you're interested. You don't want to miss this. Truly going to be an awesome video all about POKT, brand new crypto. You don't want to miss it. Whole bunch more coming right up. Alrighty, my YouTube friends, thank you for joining me once again. This is going to be a really fun video. As we get started, just a few things that we'll talk about. One, don't forget the donate link down at the bottom. Many of you guys are doing that. Thank you so much. I used to live near Mayfield, Kentucky, and it's a privilege to use this channel just to fundraise for a great charity that's boots on the ground and helping in the recovery. So take a peek at that if you would, and consider giving. Maybe just give up one day of your Starbucks, as they like to say, and give $3 to $5. It could be a small amount. Maybe you're a whale and you want to give over $1,000. That's awesome too. Or maybe you want to blow away the $5,000 goal. I don't care. Blow my mind, whether it's $1, $5,000 or more. I'd love to see you consider contributing. I already have and would love to see you jump into. Okay, so let's just jump right into the news here. One of the things I wanted to show is this right here. So this is how I first found out about the project, and I thought this was a really interesting piece of news, and the timing was so interesting. So I saw this come across in CoinDesk, and then literally a couple days later, I'm talking to my friends from Whispernode and Secret Network, and they're like, hey, you know, POKT's a big deal. And then I jump into a live stream and we bring up POKT once again with Dan Edelbeck from Exidio. So it's like all these worlds are colliding. And so I thought I would just start with this. So what's neat about this is POKT raised $10 million. So this is just a funding round, right? And there's a lot of ways that crypto companies make money to get going. You see like the sort of slimy ICOs that are out there. The US doesn't really play in those anymore because of all the challenges around it being a security. You also see token pre-sales. You see all kinds of like ways to raise funds in terms of getting users to jump in by providing capital and equity, maybe in return for lower rates. You see privately held auctions. You also see even like accredited investors get in and buy something early. But then you also see the typical world that I'm used to, going to a venture capitalist or group of VCs and raising funding. For those of you that don't know, I'm a cybersecurity practitioner and an entrepreneur, so I'm used to this world. I actually know investment banks, I know VCs, I know seed capital investors, and I know how this world of funding works. And so this is familiar to me. And so when I see a crypto company do something like this, I get excited. So not just because it's the VC, but because it's a territory I'm familiar with, and obviously they're doing something good to cause someone to give them some money. So this came from Rocktree, or from Republic, Rocktree, and Arrington, all VCs that are very well known. So as we scroll down, we can see some information about this. So they're a Web3 developer platform, and we'll talk about more about that in just a minute. But what it says right here, POKT looks to help application developers easily and securely interact with blockchains. Now, you guys know I'm a huge fan of this idea of how do we get better interoperability as more and more projects come out, as we see new and better innovation come out all the time. One of the things that's really well needed is this ability for us to have better integrations and better cross-platform capabilities so that one project can implement with another project. That's a huge piece of success. We see this in the world all around us in technology. We need to see it more in crypto. You know what else we need to see? We need to see you hit the like button on this video. Would you do that for me? Really, one of the few ways that the YouTube algorithm knows if a video is good is smashing the like button. So hit like, hit subscribe, share this with a friend. It really does go an immensely long way for me. So please do that for me. Hit that like button. So there's also some great data that's inside of the rest of this release. They talk about POKT network usage growing. I haven't talked exactly what POKT does yet, but just know this. It's gone from, you can see this, from a few tens of thousands of API calls to over 2 billion in a single week. In other words, explosive growth, which means a lot of new crypto projects are beginning to use this. And that's great, right? Without usage, no crypto project stands to succeed. And there's some more information here. They have a Twitter link here if you want to see more about the economics and how this works. I'm actually going to jump into some of that. But let's start with this. What the heck is POKT and what is it trying to solve for? So when you go to their website, their main page, which I'll show you in just a minute, one of the things they talk about is, hey, we want to be like the TCP IP of the Web3 infrastructure, node infrastructure. And that makes a lot of sense to me because I'm a network guy, I'm an IT guy, but many of you guys read that and you're like, I have no idea what that means. So let me simplify. When they say they want to be the TCP IP of Web3, here's what they mean. TCP IP is the underpinnings of literally all network traffic. Like the fact that you're watching this video on YouTube right now, there's a whole bunch of TCP IP things that had to happen in the background that you never notice to get this user experience. To get good streaming at high definition, there's TCP that's happening, there's UDP that's happening, there's all of these transmission protocols from one IP address to another that all provide you with the experience in the background to watch this video. It's sort of like the backbone. And think of it as like, you know, the electric power grid where everything is produced and it finally comes into your home. Think about that for the network world. All of this stuff happening that you don't have to understand that makes your life nice so you can watch this video. Well, Web3 has some of that, but not a lot of it. For example, we have all these distributed projects that are running some great on top of great crypto platforms. For example, Cosmos. I love Cosmos. I talk about it a lot on this channel and really starting to talk about it all the more because I'm so enraptured by what it does. But we're still missing something that POKT is trying to solve for. And here's what it is. What is the back-end infrastructure where all of these crypto projects are hosted? And POKT will tell you, and general experience holds true, that while all of these Web3 projects are great, they're actually hosted on Web2 infrastructure. An example of that would be AWS. Did you know the vast majority of crypto infrastructure lands in its finality in AWS? Now we know AWS, it's awesome. I built a huge company on AWS alone, where we were spending, I shouldn't tell you how much, but over 6 figures a month just in AWS hosting. The reason people do that is AWS is modular, it's extremely powerful, its scalability is second to none, and while it's expensive, it is a great platform to build on. But POKT says maybe not for Web3, and they mention some examples. One of those examples is points of failure. What happens if an availability zone in AWS goes out? We've actually seen this happen quite a bit over the past, recent few months, and things go out. I remember Reddit going offline because of this, just as one example. So there's outages. There's also, how do we keep control over everything? What happens if Amazon shuts something down? What if Amazon says, we don't like this content, we're going to shut it down? I'm not saying anything about legal or illegal content. I'm just saying, resistance, censorship-free content. What if someone from another country that happens to be much more censored wants to share something? It can be difficult in this age of Web 2. So Web 3 is solving for all of that, but the exception is everything lands in a Web 2 world like AWS. We need to fix that. So POKT is all about trying to fix that, trying to shift everything and finally make a truly native Web 3 application from beginning to end. Nothing has to land and sit in AWS or any other Web 2 infrastructure as a service. Okay. So now that we understand that, we can move out a little bit forward into what this whole thing is, how it works, and more information about it. So let's start with this. Let's go ahead and take a look at the website. So I'm going to bring that up. So if you want to get to it, it's POKT.network, POKT network, but not spelled pocket, right? So here it is, Web3 infrastructure the right way. It's decentralized instead of deploying to a single service provider. Oh, and the other thing too is, I should have mentioned this, they claim to have an order of magnitude cheaper on fees. And that's because they're leveraging people like me and you to build all of this. So definitely pretty cool. What's neat about it is look at all of the blockchains that it already supports. So if you're writing a project on Ethereum, Harmony, Solana, Avalanche, Binance, Gnosis, Polygon, IATEX, POKT, and more coming out, it's already got endpoints to work with all of those. So if you're not technical, right, and you don't really understand what's going on here, what it's doing is giving us the capability to serve up infrastructure that can exist in a Web3 world. So maybe it's games, maybe it's medical use cases, maybe it's trading and finance use cases, whatever it may be, giving the ability to run this through Pocket Network versus AWS, something like that. So that should be enough as a beginner's guide. And the way the whole project works is there are three components to all of this. There are the applications themselves. These are the actual projects. These are the crypto projects that you see and use every day. They're the ones that send API requests outbound. And the second piece is the nodes. So the nodes are what users like you or me or anyone else in the world can spin up that receive those API requests and then submit them where they need to go. So think of them kind of as the broker, for example. And it can also do more than just send it where it needs to go. It can actually do some processing. And then lastly, the third component is the network layer, right? So that's sort of like the backbone that serves for how the traffic works, how the protocol works, how Pocket actually behaves. And so where you can get involved is primarily if you're an application writer and you're technical in creating a project, you might want to use Pocket for your hosting and to handle all your API requests because it's much cheaper than Amazon. Or maybe you're somebody that's like, no, I don't want to do any of that. I just want to play with the nodes. I want to get involved with the nodes themselves so I can make some money on hosting a node and making Pocket sing along. So that's the high level of how all of this works. And what we'll do is we'll jump into some of the background mechanics of all of this. If you want to see, they've got some great documentation here. And I realize for many of us that aren't extremely technical, this may not be something for you because you don't fully understand, how to build a node, anything like that. But you just want to jump into the tokenomics. I get it, right? So I'm going to stay high level for all of this so you can kind of see some more information. But you can really walk through all this starting at welcome and then go through things and skip what doesn't apply to you. So for example, this is where a lot of people want to know, how do I actually get Pocket? It's POKT. How do I get it? How do I stake it? How do I use it? So here's where the wallet creation is. You create your wallet. They'll walk you through all of those pieces to get this going, saving your private key, all of that. And then what you'll do from there is you have to get Pocket, right? So there's some ways to get it. Right now, it's hard to find it. It's so new, so it's not on a lot of exchanges yet. Given their VC capital and background, you can be sure that Coinbase and others are paying a lot of attention to them. So one way is to find it on an exchange. Another way is to find it, they call this over the counter, where you're sort of doing these, and this isn't going to work for most of you, right? But these are like white label markets that put buyers and sellers together. I realize many of that won't work for many of you. So you're gonna have to get your hands on it somehow over a wallet, or maybe someone that can let you get started with it, right? And then staking is a different operation altogether. Don't think of Pocket staking as something where you as a user are putting this into a DeFi platform, although I suppose that can happen. This actually happens by running your node. So staking works as you set up and run a node, that's how you're going to make rewards out of the ecosystem. And I think that's brilliant because they don't want to just create this conceptually great idea where I can have this Pocket stuff, but I really don't use it to make the network sing. I'm just using it to make some money off it. They're like, no. The way that you're going to stake and earn more Pocket is by hosting a node. So this whole thing actually works. And I love that. It's a brilliant approach. So the way that happens is, and they talk about this a little bit, there's two ways to do this, right? If you've got good DevOps skills and you're technical, you can do this on your own. But also you need to have more than 15,000 Pocket to even begin to do this, right? And so Pocket is not cheap right now. Pocket is sitting at, currently looks like $2.31. So in order for you to get into this, let me go back to where my tab was. Here it was. Where was I? Right here. In order to get back into this, you're going to have 15,000 Pocket to get started. That is not cheap. Now, there are some other ways you can do this. Another way is to pay someone else to run your node or join a staking pool. And staking pools are just now coming out. Here's an example of one, Pocket Pool right here. So this is one where you can, if you're like, I don't have the DevOps skills, I don't have 30K to get into this, but I do want to get in because I love what Pocket is doing. Here is the pool right here, or one of the first pools. So you can check this out, Pocket Pool. I'll put a link in the description. So you'll have this and you can check it out as it goes live. You can find out more about it. So go check that out if you want. So those are the three ways that you can get started. We're not going to talk too in depth about like starting your own node, other than to say they have instructions all throughout here to get that going should you wish to start your own node. And I think it'd be a lot of fun to start it. Just know you got to have 15,000 Pocket to even get started. That doesn't make things super easy. Talking about the tokenomics a little bit. So one thing that they say is like, look, Pocket is not meant to be a high transaction, high throughput facility. That's not what we're solving for. There's a lot of great projects that do all of that, right? You know, I've even talked about Pi Network quite a bit. You know, it's based on Stellar, and it's really, literally a payment ecosystem. There's many that are like that. In order to be successful, they've got to have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of transactions a second supported. Not Pocket. Pocket is not concerned with facilitating payments. Pocket is concerned with making these API requests work correctly, and we don't have to have a high transaction network for Pocket itself to do that. So they say, you know, this is in contrast to most layer 1 chains. That's not what they're concerned about. So as you go through this, you can find out more information around all this, but here's some of the basic tokenomics that you need to know. Let me zoom in so you can see this a bit better. Here we go. So looks like there's going to be initially 650 million Pocket that are created, a minting rate of 0.1 Pocket per validated relay. So that is as you host a node and those relays are validated, you're going to make new Pocket. Now, what's interesting is Pocket is both burned and minted continuously, right? So what happens is application runners, those that create their crypto, are they're buying and burning Pocket in order to make this work. But some of that gets transmitted over to you as a node operator as well. And so it's got a burn mechanism and a newly minted mechanism as it builds the economy between the application runners and the node runners to make all this work. So if you want to see more about staking, here all of it is. I'm actually going to skip all of this in today's video just because it's probably a lot more technical than we need to get. I'm just trying to expose you to what Pocket is. Here's some more information around how the actual blockchain works. So notice it's not fast, right? Every 15 minutes, session time is 4 blocks. So, you know, it's not meant to be a high transaction network. That's not its purpose. So there's a lot more information through all of this if you want to see all of it. But overall, I think it's a brilliant project. The last thing I did want to show you, I showed you a peek of this. This does not exist, I don't think, yet on like CoinMarketCap, which is my preferred go-to place for tokenomics and just looking. But here it is on CoinGecko, Pocket Network, trading at $2.32. You can see it's really grown over time. I think it's a very interesting project. We've already talked about, well, I guess we haven't talked, so volume is really starting to grow. But we don't see market cap here, I guess because this is so new, they haven't loaded the full 650 million in here yet. So we could do some basic math to figure that out. But overall, pretty excited about Pocket, and very excited to know from you guys, what more do you want to know about Pocket? This was just an intro guide, like a Pocket for dummies, so you can see why it's taking off, why it's hitting the buzz, what it's trying to solve for, how the economics work, where to go to read more on, do I want to start a node, do I want to get involved in a pool, do I want someone to host a node for me, how do I want to do all of that, and why this could be a great project for any investor, because it's really solving a hugely needed use case, which is completing the Web3 ecosystem and getting out from Web2 altogether from the hosting side of the house. So let me know what you guys think. Do you like Pocket? Are you interested in it? Does it get you pumped up? Not interested at all? Tell me what you guys think. Leave a comment down below. Hey, if you've watched this far and you haven't hit the like button, come on, man. Just literally click, 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 click. So easy to click the like button. It really goes a long way for me. Okay, my friends, thank you guys so very much.